Alright guys, now we're going to go ahead and look at how you're going to go about designing your Tom Sawyer book cover. So just a reminder, your book cover must include a background that uses 1-point perspective. This background actually does. If you watch, this fence goes back to the vanishing point that would be right here, so that has 1-point perspective. It has to have at least one character, so we have one character here, but you also could have more. You need to have the title of the book. In this case it is The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. And then you need to have the author, who is Mark Twain. You can have extra, so this one says Tom has a genius for adventure. You can add extras if you want, but you have to have at least these 4 things. The first part to designing your book cover is that you need to access the Google Drive with a library of images that have been prepared for you. The link to do this is right here, and your teacher might give you a link as well. The link takes you to a library called Benchmark Advanced Grade 5 Unit 2 Tom Sawyer Book Cover, and you have 2 folder options. The first one is your backgrounds. So if you click there, you have your backgrounds. You obviously can't choose which background you want from this. An easier way is to go right here to this symbol. Do you see the one I'm highlighting? It looks like a grid. Click on that, and you can actually see ones you like. You can click around until you see something you like. Let's see. I'm going to go with this one. Double click, and then right up here in the far right hand corner there's a download button. It will almost always either download to your downloads folder or to your Google Drive, depending on if you're using a laptop or a Chromebook. Once you've selected a background, you need to select a character. So if you go back to the folder, you can go right here to Tom Sawyer characters, and there are all the characters. They're a little bit harder to see, so you can always click, and then there's an arrow over here. It's off my screen, it's hard to see, but you can click through and decide on which characters you want. Now if you remember, you can have more than one character, right? So I'm going to choose this character, and then I need a second character. I'm going to choose this character. So now I have my characters, I'm actually ready to design my book. We are going to use a free online program called Canva to edit our books. You get there, or book covers, excuse me. You get there by going to www.canva.com. Your teacher will also give you a link. Once you're there, you need to make a login. I suggest signing up with Google since you probably have a Google Drive. You just click there, and it will say which Google Drive do you want to use. You will click the appropriate one, and it will take you to your new Canva account. Your Canva account will look something like this. You may not have anything here. I have that here because I've made a lot of things, but you probably haven't made a lot of things yet. Yours will be empty. Once you're here, you're going to create a design, and our design is a book cover. If I click right here where the plus sign is, where it says more, I get lots more options. So I'm going to scroll down to where it says blogging and ebooks, and there's several different types of book covers you can choose. I'm just going to choose a Kindle cover because I like how big that is, so that's the one I recommend. You're going to click there. You're going to have to wait a second, and here it is. Now up here, this is actually your title, so if you double click, you could actually give it a name. I'm going to call it Tom Sawyer Book Cover, and then I'm going to click Done. Canva does autosave for you, but if you want to make sure, you can always go to File, Save. Now you have all sorts of templates you can start with, but you have to edit those and it can get tricky. So we're going to actually start by adding some of the images we just downloaded. So we're going to go right here to Uploads. Again, yours will be empty. I've been adding lots of things, but you're going to click on the green Upload Your Own Images. You're going to go to Downloads, and you should see some of the images you've downloaded. Now if they look like this, do you see that? You can click on a little icon over here until you have an option you like. So I'm going to start with my background because when we do digital design, we always start from the back and we work our way forwards. Click and click Open and wait. You can see this little green thing appears as it loads. This also lets us know right here. I can click on it and it's not big enough, is it? So I can stretch it to however big I want it to be. That looks pretty nice right there. And once I'm good, I just click off to the side. Now I need to add my characters. So I'm going to start with Tom, because he's probably maybe one of the more important characters. There he is. So there's Tom. And I can resize him. He might be a little too small right there, right? But I can play with that in a second. And then I'm going to go and get my second character, Becky Thatcher. And there she is. So now I can move these guys around just by clicking and moving them. I'm going to put Becky Thatcher down here on the trail. She might be a little big for that far down the trail. So I can make her, remember when things go back in the distance, they get smaller. And here's Tom. Now here's the cool thing. I could have Tom standing right here, couldn't I? But I also could have him a close-up right here, right? There's lots of different ways to put together a book cover. We've looked at lots of different ways, right? So once I'm happy, I could leave that just like that. Now, my bullets reminded me that I needed 1-point perspective. I need at least one character. I have to have the title and the author. So that's what I'm missing. Once I'm ready for the title, I'm going to click right here where it says text. And there's all sorts of text options. These are kind of fancy ones right here, so you're welcome to choose one of those. But you also could just click right here and type in The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. And I entered and made 2 lines, but you could do 1. If I click right here, I have all sorts of different fonts I can pick from. See how it changed when I picked a different font? And I can toggle out to make this whatever size I want. So I'm going to play with this for a second, and then when I'm happy, I'm going to show it to you. I'm not quite happy, but I wanted to show you. I changed the font to yellow, and I still can't read it very well. You want to make sure you can read the font. Another tricky thing that you can do is you can click right here where it says Elements. There's Shapes. You can choose Shapes, pick a rectangle, right? Stretch it to whatever size you want. So I'm going to have it go across the top. I can change the color to whatever I want. If I don't want one of those colors, I can click here and just swirl around and pick one I like. And I also can change this and make it transparent. So watch this. What? And then this is behind it, and I don't like that, right? So I can just click Arrange and bring it forward. Now, you can't really read that yellow, can you? So I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to change it to black. So now all I'm missing is the author, right? So I can move this up, go back to my text tool, and I can say, by Mark Twain. That's kind of hard to read, but I can always change it. I'm going to put it right up here. I'm going to make it bold, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so that everybody knows that Mark Twain wrote that. Now I have a brand new book cover for The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. I'm going to save, okay? And then here's how you're going to turn this into your teacher. You're going to click right here where it says Download, and it's going to give you some options. PNG is totally fine. That just means that it's an image file. You can click Download. You have to hold tight, preparing your design. Do you like how it tells you what to do? Now, it's almost always going to download to either your Downloads folder if you're on a laptop or to your Google Drive if you're on a Chromebook. So once it's there, I'm going to click here. I'm going to go back to my Downloads. It says Tom Sawyer book cover. I can double click, and it will open up. There it is. There's my book cover. So now you have a file that you can turn into your teacher, and he or she can print it if they want. You guys can do all sorts of cool things with it. So thanks so much for listening in to our how to design a digital Tom Sawyer book cover. Thanks so much.